G'day guys, we're in the trusty old cruiser today. We're going to go down and hook the trailer up, get another load of firewood. I found a nice Jarrah down the back, so got the saw in the back. We'll go and cut her up and put her on the trailer and bring her back to split. Righto, join me, eh? Firewood's a bit of a full-time pastime around here. I mean, you know, you may not have to pay for it, but it doesn't come for free. It's there's a lot of work involved, but you know, it's good work, good physical labour. It's pretty satisfying. Satisfying when you stack it, satisfying when you sit in front of the fire on a cold night and get to burn it. So it's pretty good. One of the advantages of living where we live, you know, we don't have to go too far for it. There's plenty of wood on the property, so that's where we're heading now. Just call these a Taranaki gate back home. They work alright, but they're a bit of a pain in the arse. Yeah, so we're heading up into that back corner there. The place is starting to green up a bit now. Looking good. Righto. So I came out here earlier and had a bit of a recce on the quad, and I found this one here. So she's a beauty. There's plenty of burning in it. It's good. It's not doughy. The only problem is it's sitting flat on the ground, and it's been here for a long time, so it'll be pretty hard on the chain on the saw. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rest of this end block off, and then I'm just going to plunge cut a little bit of an opening in there. I'll get the high lift jack on it, get it up off the ground, and then I'll chuck a wedge. Chuck some sort of wedge in underneath further down here just to hold it off the ground, and then I'll be able to get, I don't know, half a dozen rounds or so, maybe a bit more off it. We'll just go back until it gets doughy pretty much, so that'll be great. And then, you know, this is the other half over here. Again, you know, it doesn't look too bad. The bottom's probably in worse shape than this other one is, but even if we just slice a few you know, a few rounds off it and only go halfway through and then knock them off with the block splitter, that'll be fine. Should be a cracker. We'll get plenty of wood out of these two, so that's good. And you know, have a look around. What a place to be. What a place to be for the afternoon. It's bloody great. Love the backyard. Alright, I'll set the cameras up and yep, I'll get cutting. So I reckon I'll be able to split a fair bit more of that out just with the maul, and then I'll just tickle away at that bottom piece until I can break it free enough to get the high lift in there. Righto, so just a little cut there with the saw. Should be able to do that without killing the blade, hopefully. Break that a little bit away, and then we'll have another crack. ground is so bony, you just touch it with the chain and you've got to sharpen them. Perfect. Righto. So we'll just chip into the middle. So look, anytime you're using the tip of the saw, it can be pretty dicey. You know, sort of one of those things is not to be taken lightly. Obviously you can get severe kickback. Feels like the rakers are a little bit aggressive on that chain at the moment. It's normally a lot smoother. But that's all I need anyway. There we go. So I brought some of the trusty old lanolin spray with me. I'll give it a pretty liberal dose, and hopefully everything will slide smoothly. There we go, see, it all gets dusted and rusted in there, and just par for the course, unfortunately, living on the top of the wagon. But they lift a lot of weight. And quite frankly, in the four-wheel drive, I'll take one of these over a winch any day, thanks. Not to say I wouldn't like a winch, but if I can only have one, it's going to be this bad boy. Righto, that's bloody great. So We'll just find something of a reasonable size to wedge under there. Hold it off the ground, and then I can go to it. Not much chop, is it? See if I can find something better. I don't really want to sacrifice one of my good pieces of timber, that's all. Oh well, needs must. There we go. And to release this thing, normally you can give it a bit of a kick, but it's a bit stiff. And it should walk itself down, but like I say, when they get a bit seized like this, you just have to help that pin out. As long as you've got the tension on it, everything's fine. There's no real weight on it now. But I have seen these things go down somewhat catastrophically. The handle just goes crazy and they walk themselves down if they've got a good load on them. And once that happens, boy, you won't stop them. Don't try. Many a broken arm and shoulder, I think, from that. Righto, that's good to go. We'll cut some more rounds. Right, so what's happening is you can see the saw is not cutting straight. It's cutting a bit of a curve. It's because essentially the teeth on one side will be a little bit longer than the teeth on the other. And that's just because, look, it could be because I've hit something on one side, or more likely it's just a bias in my sharpening and I give more weight to the strokes on one side. So to fix it, I basically go through, I'll find the shortest tooth on the chain, I'll mark that tooth, and then I will sharpen all the other teeth to be the same length as that tooth, which will sort of reset it. It's an aggressive sharpen because it means you are literally, you're going back to find whichever one is the short tooth, you know. So let's say it's that one, you know, every other tooth will have to be ground back to that length. So you lose quite a lot of life in the chain when you do it, but you know, otherwise this is the result. So, you know, it's a pain in the ass. It takes quite a while. So to be honest, I don't do it nearly as often as I probably should, and that's why I don't do it as often as I should, because it's a pain in the ass. But you know, this will be all right. This will get me through. This will get me through today, what I need to do, and then I can put that on the list. And who knows, maybe I'll do a video on sharpening the chain that way. It's not difficult, it's just time consuming. Have to break out the calipers or the, you know, the vernier gauge and things so you can measure the tooth. That's all. If you take your blades or your chains in to have them commercially sharpened at the saw shop, they'll automatically do all that every time. But I don't take the chains in to have them done. You know, I just as soon do it myself. I love cutting firewood. I don't know what it is. There's just something about cutting firewood. Alright, that's all good. Let's have another crack. So I'm just going to have to accept, you know, for the rest of these cuts, because the log is too thick for the chain to, or for the saw to go through in one cut, they're all going to be like that. But yeah, what do I care? It's only firewood, right? Pulling away to the left from both sides. We're almost done. We're running another 700. Alrighto, good. So normally I cut the rounds a lot thicker, but I'm cutting a few smaller ones because the outlaws are coming to see us in a couple of weeks, and they're gonna take some wood home with them, and they got a much smaller fireplace than us, so you know, there's no point cutting them big giant long pieces. Cracking. So that's really good. Look, that's as far as I'm going to go with it today. I'll just get that stuff on the trailer, but you know, that's still, you know, I'd like to cut that back to about here to really get everything out of it. Like I mentioned before, you know, I just can't stand to see it go to waste and just rot in the forest. You know, I mean, this tree's probably been down here for, man, who knows, might be 30 years, maybe longer, and it's still good sound timber. So have at it, I say. Righto. Righto guys, so I'll split these rounds into a manageable sort of a size and get them on the trailer and get them back into the shed. Once upon a time I probably would have considered that a manageable sort of size, and I would have grunted and strained and got them on the trailer. I would have near killed myself in the process, but I don't know, older and wiser or weaker and weedier, I'm not sure which. But today I'll split them up. So I've got this new Fiskars splitting axe. I'm going to give that a crack on these as well, because you know these are some pretty solid pieces of Jarrah, so it'd be interesting to see how it goes. But I mean, it's not curly, so I reckon it'll split just fine. You can see it's got a big crack running down it, so I'll just work with that. Yeah, these are going to be easy. Love it. When you get onto the curly stuff, it is it's no picnic. Right, see if I can manage halves. The bigger I can leave them and get them on the trailer, the easier it is to deal with them. But it's a fine line. Of course, if I had a trailer with sides, it wouldn't really matter. I'd probably just split it here and just throw it straight in. This is that workout bit of working that I enjoy, I suppose. It's giving me a good workout. I'm doing something I enjoy, and you know, it all fits together. You know, I've knocked that one around and breaking my back. So this is one of the few bits on the property that's got a fair bit of remnant Jarrah, like still growing. Most of the property they've gone through in the old day, and you know, it's been the dominant species for logging, so they've basically just cleared them out. It's really only marri, a little bit of she oak left, but this block here in the corner of one of the paddocks is not, it's still remnant, you know, it's not like well, sorry, it's regrowth, it's not remnant, but it's still got a fair bit of Jarrah in it, sort of growing in amongst it. And still, I don't know if you can see this one over in the back here, you know, some fairly mature trees left as well. So it's a nice bit of block, a nice bit of bush this. I can hear some of you saying, oh geez, you're back. I hear you, but to be honest, I think that we're built to lift. I think we do it pretty well, as long as you've got good technique. You know, look, let's try this one and see how it compares. No need to break your back, but I think if you lift smarter, not harder, then you know you can do a fair bit. Oh. Geez, you know, I still love the old maul. We'll see. And maybe for this sort of stuff, the maul wins. Maybe for breaking up smaller rounds into sort of quarters, Maybe that's where the Fiskars will shine. This is just a basic old Cyclone El Cheapo block splitter. It's on about its 5th handle, and geez, you know, I love it. I reckon it's a good piece of kit. I suppose that is true old school technology compared to the Fiskars, but yeah, it does a great job. We split a lot of wood together that morning night. Like anything in life, if you find a tough bit, work around it. You can't keep wailing away at the same spot, and you'll probably get there eventually. But why bother? And there's a better way. Oh, that chain's buggered. Yep. It's definitely next job. That's a great way to spend the afternoon. So there's a couple of Jarrah poles I want to pick up on the way back, which are just up here. So I'll load them on as well. Have a little home for them, and then I'll go and dump this lot in front of the woodshed, and you know, we'll probably split it up tomorrow. Here we go, let's just adjust you there. So the saw I use is, obviously it's a Stihl, it's an MS361. It's getting on, but it's a pretty good saw. I think from memory it's about 58 cc's. It's one of their pro level saws. I've done a lot of work with this one. It's about due for a service. It's never been to the shop to have anything done for it. I just put a new bar on it this morning. I've still got the old bar, you know, and it's still going strong, but I just wanted to get a new one, and the old one sticks a little bit sometimes at the tip. But look, it's a good saw. It's probably punching above its weight, bucking logs this size. But you know, look, the chain and the condition of the chain doesn't help. Normally I should be able to just like use the dogs, run the saw all the way through in a big arc just on the one on the one cut, and then come around and reverse and kick it in on the dogs, and it should, you know, should cut straight. So, you know, it'd generally be okay for timber this size, but certainly with the bar and the condition it's in, it's not much shop. Yeah, so probably on the cards is a bigger saw this year, maybe next year, maybe a 661 or something like that. I'd like to do a bit of milling. There's a few logs around the place that I'd love to run the chainsaw mill on. I've got a mill, but the old power head that I had for it is it's an Ep4, which is a pretty old power head, and still don't support it anymore, and it needs a new crankcase. So it's pretty much toast. I still search the internet now and then in the hopes of finding one, but I haven't had any joy yet. You know, I found a few flogged out second-hand ones, but I'm not sure that I'd be in a better boat. You know, just good money after bad. So it's a shame because it's a big power head, and you know, it would certainly cover all the bases here. But you know, all things come to an end. Righto. I don't need to bother tying any of that off. We're not going very far. Maybe we'll just break a few up before I go in. Let's try the new Fiskars and see how it goes. Splitting performance, it's pretty good, but ergonomically I would say that I'm already thinking I'd want to be wearing gloves for that, whereas with that wooden maul, yeah, I could spend a few hours splitting with that without gloves. Alright, that'll do for now. That's a good head start. I don't think it's going to rain overnight, so it's probably safe to leave it out. And then I'll come and finish it in the morning. Okay, I know I said I'd do that tomorrow, but you know what, I just couldn't help myself, because if there's one thing you can't trust, it's the weather. So that's good. That lot's in there. Maybe tomorrow I'll finish splitting that. That's why I put it away tonight. I'm just not sure that I'll actually get a chance to do it tomorrow, so better to put the split stuff away. The old chooks are starting to hover around telling me it's time to put them away and feed them. See you later.